So I was one day doing a SMP, and I was just building a gold farm that used nether portals. And so I was building the gold farm, and when I came across the overworld side, I had found possibly the biggest mountain range I've ever seen in Minecraft. In fact, it might be even the biggest mountain range in Minecraft. I don't know. But the mountain range was insane. Now, seeing how big the mountain was, there was only one problem. I couldn't see the entire mountain because of the poor render distance, as well as the fact that the mountains were so big that we couldn't get high enough to actually see the entire thing. And so, as a redstone designer, I decided to try and come up with a redstone machine that could get me up high enough to be able to see everything. The first thing that came to mind was the Windburst Potion, which is... Let's see, where is it? Aha. The Wind Charged Potion. You throw this on something, you kill the mob, and then it creates an explosion. And you can get multiple mobs to create an even bigger explosion. So for example, if we get a bunch of chickens right here, we throw a Wind Charge Potion on, jump in the center, throw a Harming Potion, we get launched insanely high up. In fact, we are 2,000 blocks up, which might just be enough for the height we need. Now, this thing has been done in various videos, such as, I've seen this on, like, Unstable Universe videos from Parrot.
He's going to the chicken launchers. Don't let him through, don't let him through.
However, in reality, I thought that there was no practical use for this sort of wind charge potion cannon thing. Just because, I mean, come on, what are you gonna do? Go up this outer space? However, seeing now that there is a use for the wind charge potion, which is to get really high enough to see this entire mountain range, I started coming up with various designs to get up high using the wind charge potion. The design we just used was literally as simple as it gets. A 3x3 box to put as many chickens in a small area as possible. And you can actually upgrade this to a 1x1 box, something like this, where they're on ladders so they don't entity cram. And this does the literal exact same thing. A massive explosion. However, the only problem with this is we're using chickens. And chickens are really hard to get in a 1x1, because you have to throw a bunch of eggs in a small area. In fact, I'm pretty sure you could just throw them up from the top. But point is, they're very annoying to get into place. Once you kill all the chickens, you have to restart putting in chickens. Whether that be by throwing in eggs, and the whole process takes forever to restart. Even if you had hoppers picking up eggs, throwing it into dispensers, it just takes forever. And so that's where we move on to a better design. By using allays, you see with one of the other potions, known as the Infested Potion, you can throw it on and it summons silverfish. Yet again, I didn't think this had a practical use until now. However, seeing as you can pile up silverfish, this idea would actually work. The only problem with this is, if you're in survival mode, they're going to start trying to get to you, and that just breaks the entire thing. Not to mention, you jump in there, you're actually going to get killed in a few seconds. Oh, great. Easy, alright. Now, this will get you higher the longer you wait. However, we gotta fix the problem of the silverfish jumping up and around. Not to mention that all the silverfish are all spread out very unevenly, meaning the random momentum they'll give isn't really ideal. Now, if you've seen my raid farm video, yes, I've made a raid farm. You can go check that out, link in the description. One of the key things the raid farm uses is boats. Basically, the raiders get in a boat, and they get kicked out into the nether portal to get rid of the mobs as fast as possible. And using boats in this sort of farm might also actually work. And so if we have the same allay setup here, but instead we push it into a boat, which is in a minecart, we can actually place scaffolding right here, and this creates just a low enough hitbox that the silverfish won't entity cram. So now if we throw an infestation potion, we'll see that they go into the boat and appear right out straight in the center. Or at least as good as the center as it can get. And this is so far good enough for what we would need. We got most of the silverfish in the center, except they can still jump out, as well as the player isn't actually aligned in the center either. So in order to fix this, because the silverfish's hitbox is so low, so what we can do is we can actually take a rail and then put a chest boat, no, just a chest in a minecart right on the thing. So something like this. Okay, give it a sec. Just like that. And because the boat's hitbox is just above the silverfish won't be able to jump out. Meaning, now the player can stand safely on top of the boat without taking any damage whatsoever. And then just throw a wind charge, a harming potion, and you've got the same effect. Just like that. Now that I have a design that is arguably safer, it's like really precise. You see, our X and Z coordinate didn't move that much at all, like at most 100 blocks. This is pretty good. However, we're up this high, which is good. Now it's time to have someone else try it. And look at this.
Oh. Oh gosh.
Fly over here, fly over this way to the center.
What?
To the center here, alright? Right here, right here. Oh, but take a look at this. Like,
That is like a cliff. That's insane.
oh, but you know what? You know what? The best part is.
What biome is that?
The best part is I was holding back. Fly up here. This mountain range goes on. Like, it goes on all the way up here. Get to the tip of this mountain. Right here. Right here.
Whoa. Dude,
yeah,
what?
let's go this way.
What? This is why over 200.
Oh, but you know what the best part is? You know what the best part is? Do you know what the best part is?
What?
I was holding back. Come over this way.
There's no way.
I was holding back. Look at this. Look at this. Look around you, and witness the biggest mountain range I've seen in survival Minecraft. Like,
what in the world?
like this goes on for a good 1,000 blocks or two. Like,
that is insane.
yeah. Like,
what?
and you'll notice if you stand on any highest point on the mountains, the highest is 256, which is the highest mountains go. So all these mountains here were just so high that they just got cut off at this limit. Like, and this whole mountain range,
crazy.
it goes on. You've got some crazy cave generation
This
right
is
here.
like this looks like an amplified world.
I know, right? You've got like.
How is this a regular seed?
You know, I was just building a gold farm and I just found this. Like, alright, so shift on the boat, throw the wind charge potion, and then instant damage. So you have to shift, look down, and throw the 2 potions.
Like one after another, one after another.
One after another. So throw the wind charge, give it a second, and throw the harming. Alright, get ready. Alright, go. Stand in the center.
Oh! Oh my gosh. What? I'm hovering in the void.
Now, one of the things that gave inspiration for making the Windburst cannon was from the game The Legend of Zelda Tears of the Kingdom. And it was based off of the Skyview towers in the game, which are basically a bunch of towers scattered across the game, and the player could go to these towers, which would then allow them to get launched up and scan the geography of the surrounding region. So I've done here is I've built a example Skyview tower right here. And beneath it, we've got our silverfish setup right here with the alliance things. So you can come on in. You've got the launch pad. All you do is hit the button, and you get launched up, just like that. And then you can glide around. Now, if you're watching this video, I'm going to take a guess and say that you've probably seen the video by Unhappy Bean about his wind elytra tunnel, which is one of the fastest methods of travel in Minecraft. However, Iceboat does pass it in the nether roof, so it's not really the fastest travel method. However, his travel method used the idea of using the elytra to launch the player at high speeds across the world. Now this is great and all, except it's not really that practical unless you're playing super flat like they mentioned in the video. However, what if you could do this in the nether? Now, in the video, there are a few flaws with this current design. First of all, it uses water to push the silverfish into place, and even when the silverfish get into place, they do end up climbing the vines right there, meaning that you actually lose some of the wind burst power. Not to mention his whole system is built upon the idea of having the player float in water, which, I mean, means that you cannot have Depth Strider on your boots, which is another downside, meaning you're likely going to have to take off your boots to run this thing. Now, that machine is one of the fastest methods of travel. And, while I would like to say, oh yeah, I'm going to build another thing using the Wind Charge Potion, it's kind of hard to beat one of the fastest methods of travel without making the fastest method of travel. And so that's what I did. I started off with a simple design. As you can see, I tried using the boat So for the nether, we're going to have to solve a few problems. First of all, most notably, we've got no water, which is kind of important in almost everything. It's used to push the silverfish in place. It's used to hold the player up. It's also used, in fact, in my wind cannon thing, to go upwards in the Skyview tower thing. It's used to kick mobs out of the boat because you waterlog the boat. So here's the first design I came up with. It's literally a boat on a minecart with an enchanting table right next to it. The reason why we use an enchanting table is because it's got the same height, 159.75, as a boat in minecart would. If we step on here, it's 0.75. So that was the first design. The second design here, we decide to use the allays. We're going to use pistons to push it. And then we're going to use pistons to push them right next to the boat. So they fall down, get pushed into the scaffolding, and I had the idea of using powdered snow to slow down the elytra fall. So if you could have the player in the elytra go in powdered snow, you could slow down their flying speed. The next idea is a more finalized product. We've got the infested potion. They get pushed down. We just have a skulk sensor here just for simplicity. This isn't the actual design. And right here we have the entire boat setup. We actually use moss carpet to keep the boat above so they don't end up jumping around the place. However, this design here, while it does work, it's really big. I mean, look at this thing. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. 6 blocks. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. I mean, come on. Come on. You're telling me that we're going to be traveling in one of the fastest methods, and it's bigger than a 5x5 area. Like, let's be real here. I want something that is tiny. It's an actual joke to build the thing. Yet we have to put this much effort in. I refuse to use a machine like this. So instead, I decided to design something even smaller. And that's where this machine comes in. This machine is 5 blocks wide, 5 blocks long, and 10 blocks tall. And this machine is the fastest method of travel in Minecraft. As you can see, if we go in spectator mode, we've got allays inside of a block, which will spawn silverfish. At the moment, there are only like 8 allays in here. You could get more. You could probably even increase the size of this thing. For every allay you have, you travel about 2,500 blocks from my estimation. Size is 5 by 10 by 5, like we said. Items per launch. That's what you need to launch it. You just need a wind charge potion, a infestation potion, and a firework rocket with 2 power, which the idea was originally from Unhappy Beans video, so go check him out in the description. Now we use powdered snow to slow down the player's fall, and then they end up going through this tripwire hook, which perfectly times them, and we have tons of silverfish, which are unable to escape due to this iron trapdoor, unable to jump because of this chest boat, this chest boat right here, and they're unable to move around because this piston keeps them all in the 1x1 area, meaning absolutely no power is lost whatsoever. We have this time specifically. We've got the wind charge potion down below. We've got the firework rockets over to the side. All you do is you could hit the button. We leave a button here so that it powers the dispenser below. So once you use the machine, the wind charge explosion will hit this button, restarting the machine. So you don't have to worry about refilling it manually. All you do simply is you just take an elytra. I'm going to grab a notch apples just because we're on like 2 hearts. Oh, come on. So once a bunch of allays have built up, you just come to the corner of the block right here. Look at the target block. You want to look kind of up so you don't get shot into the ground. And then jump twice. If you've seen the original Unhappy Bean video, you'll know pretty much how this works. You just fall into place. This time we fall into powdered snow to slow down our fall. Give it a second. And just like that, we've traveled 10,000 blocks in, 1 or 2 seconds right there. Oh, game's freezing. 20,000 blocks, just like that. In fact, the lag is actually insane. Oh, great. We're going to be stuck like this for the next half an hour, trust. But yeah, in just a few seconds, we've gone to 20,000 blocks out in the nether. That's actually insane speed, by the way. Like, ice boat would get you like, I don't know, like 1,000 blocks out in this speed at most. We've gone 20 times the speed of ice boat in the nether. Convert this to overworld by multiplying this by 8. Who knows how much that is. So I've given a redstone build for going up, as well as a redstone build for going any direction. Now we're going to be going on something that I haven't seen any player think of yet, which is shooting players downwards using the wind charge potion. So we're here in the end, and what I've got here as a final machine is a machine that uses a tunnel. It uses the classic pitfall trap where the floor opens up and the player falls down. And what we've got going up here is we've got slots right here where you can place snow golems. So you can take a snow golem and have him fall right into place. And then what will happen is once activated, it'll shoot a wind charge potion and a harming potion. And the floor opens up, and anything that's inside will get shot out. So I've summoned in 24 snow golems in each of these cells. Now, you can spread the cells out by 1 or 2 blocks, depending on what your preference is. And you can increase the amount because the snow golems are sitting inside of vines, meaning they don't actually entity cram. And just to show an example of how this machine works, we're going to tick freeze, activate the trap, go inside, and tick unfreeze. Just like this, we are now hundreds of blocks in the void. There's no escaping it, from what I can tell, using ender pearls or chorus fruit, because you just get shot out instantly. Now, it's not completely inescapable, as the elytra is one way to escape it if you spam firework rockets, as using a firework rocket cancels all previous momentum that you had, and it just applies that singular momentum. So there technically is a way to escape this trap, but not unless you're fast, and not if you're prepared. So this would be like the perfect trap for a server with no elytras or anything. You can note how it shoots the wind charge potion and harming potion first, as when a mob dies, they have like a 1 second delay before they actually create the explosion. So if we spawn in a snow golem through the potion of wind charge and harming, it takes like a second before it actually creates the explosion. So by shooting it first and then pushing it into place, we actually optimize the time it takes for the trap to activate. We also have glass doors. This would most likely be all stone. We have doors here to block off the player from hurling out or anything. Instead of using the elytra, one other way of escaping this trap could be with trap doors. I can see doing something like this. And then once the roof opens up from the top, you actually won't fall down. However, this can be easily prevented by either just by placing redstone torches at the bottom or somehow. As placing redstone torches is gonna power the top blocks right here. And this means that any trapdoors placed will start off in their upper state. They won't actually be closed, meaning it's a lot harder to actually escape the trap. Now, another way of escaping the trap is by pearl glitching out of there. It's where you run at the wall, and then you pearl into the wall like this. And while this does work, it does take time to actually set up. So I wouldn't say it's like the best way of escaping the trap, though it is one that works. Now this really isn't much of a design, it's more of a prototype. I imagine that this could definitely be improved by like a decent margin. However, this is all I've got for now. I guess this is pretty much it for the entire video. If you liked the video or found it interesting at all, consider leaving a like and subscribing, as that greatly helps out with the YouTube channel. And sometime later, I might actually do some SMP content, so you can subscribe if you want to check out and be notified when that comes out. And I suppose that's pretty much it. I'll see you later in the next one.